We are, as they say, live, everybody. Welcome to Lost Dollar Business Club, the first show of 2026.
All right.
Now, that was
I've started.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
Welcome to the Lost Dollar Business Club, where we talk about business, and not just business. We talk about what makes businesses go up and what makes businesses go down. If you're interested in businesses, this is where it is. We talk about the global economy. We talk about global politics. We talk about everything and anything business related that affects your life on a global scale as well as a local scale. And don't miss after the show, Lost and Found.
Oh, we are back. Hello, everybody.
We are back.
Look at
all
us,
around
back
the
and
world.
live.
Again on the show, all around the world as we
I think we need to work on that intro, though. I think there's too much dead air for the people that are going to be listening to it on the podcast. So, but other than that, it's very cool.
Too much dead air?
There's no dead air on Lost Dollar.
It's just you talking, Steve. How can that be dead air?
Oh, the intro. I'm watching the intro. There's like 3 seconds of dead air. You can't have dead air. We have John for that. So everybody, John's back for 2026. Since we won't be doing these every Friday, we're just having doing it this Friday. John's hunting Nazi gold again somewhere in South America. As you can tell, he's in his little Nazi house over there. Are you going to be singing "The Hills Are Alive" soon, or what are we doing?
Look, I can play you some songs if you want. But
I'm sure you can, my friend. No, YouTube will be blocking us. Yeah. So we can't play that. We can't play that.
Just for educational purposes, and there's no technology behind it.
No worries. Very cool. Well, it's good to see everybody here in 2026. So we do these sporadically now because we travel around the globe to create hatred with people. John's hunting Nazi gold, so we can only come out from the service every now and then. So we talk about
let's
today.
start with some stats, though. Do we have some stats on how amazing 2OF Entertainment is going after 2025? Do we have year-end stats?
We have stats. So we have over 100,000 subscribers. The number one show that includes podcasting and everything is Habano Saturday, which gets about 30 to 40,000 downloads. Got the shirt, got the t-shirt and the baseball cap. That does about This is about 30 to 40,000 downloads on the podcast around the world. Then No Snobs or Knobs comes next with about 10 or 15. And then when we do the live Lost Dollar Business Club gets 5 to 7. Nice. And then we've got a whole bunch of other shows. And this year is the 5th year of 2OF Entertainment.
5th year. My goodness.
5th year.
Yeah. 5 years. Half decade, as some would say. Half decade.
A half decade, yes. and then last year, for those that remember Randy's art show, Rusty's Art, there was a group of guys that bought 6 of the Creationist Steven hoodies. So
they're out in the wild now, is what we're saying.
They're out in the wild now, and they wear them constantly because I see them, and they're constantly wearing them in the wild. So that was very cool. So there you go.
I did actually mention it to Stephen. It looked like he was sort of, the lost sperm donor, and there were all these children that had trucked up to meet him all at once.
Thank you.
So there you go.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, something to look forward to for 2026, I guess.
Yeah.
So, other than that, I think it's good.
We've got I like the way Stephen put this in the chat, a no nonsense look at some big business realities. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of nonsense on this show, but they're all big business realities, that's for sure. So look, guys.
A lot of unknowns on this show as well, Michael. So
well known.
Hey, you know what I'm gonna do for fun, since I didn't play the right intro. Let's play the right intro to the show.
All right.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
Welcome to the Lost Dollar Business Club, where we talk about business, and not just business. We talk about what makes businesses go up and what makes businesses go down. If you're interested in businesses, this is where it is. We talk about the global economy. We talk about global politics. We talk about everything and anything business related that affects your life on a global scale as well as a local scale. And don't miss after the show, Lost and Found.
Now we have the proper introduction done. I feel like we've accomplished
Feels
something.
good about it. That's a good way to mark the
exactly the same as the one we just had. But
hey, listen. Some of us ride a bus, and we wear our helmet not to hurt ourselves. Okay, so there you go.
Yeah. Well, not to hurt the bus driver anyway.
Well, not to hurt somebody. There you have it. So,
guys,
all right.
Do you remember? I'm just gonna mention a few of these names because I think we all remember them. Lehman Brothers,
Sure.
AIG,
Yeah.
okay, WorldCom, Enron.
Yeah, all the fun people.
Yes.
All the fun people, yeah. Those were examples of companies that, because the question was, why do profitable on paper businesses still fail? And common themes: burnout, churn, maybe hidden debts, or outright fraud, like the companies that we just
Like
mentioned.
Enron? You mean Enron that forgot to like they didn't have any oil? So.
And then you've got, Sears, Toys R Us, Kodak, Blockbuster. I think
Pets.com.
Pets.com. That's right.
Puppet.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, are there common themes in what you guys see in terms of businesses that, I mean, they don't have to all be massive companies because you guys interact with a lot of smaller companies as well, a range of companies. What are the markers of a failing company so that our listeners, our viewers, can avoid it?
Stupidity is the marking. That's it. It's just people are stupid, overconfident,
and that's not on the financial reports, though, is it? Unfortunately, it doesn't say.
Actually, it actually is. If you read the MD&A or if you look at the numbers, you can tell if they're stupid. You know what I mean? I mean, like, and if you're lucky enough to get inside and meet with people, you can tell if they're stupid. A lot of it is that managers don't know how to manage a company. And I'm talking from the CEO down to the janitor, right? So if you don't know how to manage a company or motivate a company, it doesn't really matter, right? You got to keep the troops together. You all have to be on a single purpose, a single focus, like you all have to head towards the same end goal, A through Z, right? No deviation. And I don't think a lot of leaders now do that. And I think a lot of it just between social media and all the other crap and all the kids feeling that they're entitled to work and all this other stuff has a lot to do with it. And I think that's why you'll see companies fail because there's not a lot of, if you will, old school guys that realize how to get from A to Z anymore. You get some 25-year-old that feels like you're so lucky to have me. No, not really. I could give a shit if I had you.
Well,
John's smiling. I like this. I like this.
Look.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. That's all.
John's going to speak.
John's in.
There you go, John.
All right. There's multiple factors, but the easy one, or the one that we all know, is that a company's growing, it's successful, and it doesn't have the capital to grow at the pace that the managers want to grow at, and so they run into trouble, right? They start spending more than what they're making. They borrow, and eventually, they have to pay the piper, right? They run out of money, and their growth strategy is not aligned to how the company is actually growing. So,
but that depends on who your sugar daddy is, meaning your investment bank. And here's why. If you remember back in the day, Amazon was losing money left and right, before Bezos decided to send his girlfriend into space because he had to show that he had a little penis. So if you're losing money for 10 years and you finally turn profitable, that means your investment bankers like, we like it. It's like the AI companies now, right? This is the rage. It's like when .coms came out, pet.com IPO, they're buying stuff for like $25 and selling it for $20. Seriously? Nobody said anything? That's what happens. It's like you just need a sugar daddy. And when I say that, I mean an investment bank or investors that are going to keep you afloat during whatever stupid thing you're doing to get to a profitable end. So whoever Lehman Brothers investment bankers were, they're like, we see this. And for them, it paid off.
Is it a
so it's one of those things.
Is it a lack of, it's a lack of, okay, so John's saying a lack of capital, but you're pointing to maybe a lack of good connections.
Basically, yeah.
I think Stephen's pointing to too much capital. And that, a lot of these companies they've been to one economics lecture, a lot of these guys, and have seen the hockey stick. And you think, oh, well, eventually it's going to come back up the other side. Yep. But hey-ho, hockey sticks are shorter on one end than the other.
So, but one thing is, companies that are just starting out, and another thing is companies that are, let's just say, mature or already been in the market and have been successful, and then all of a sudden they go downhill.
Yeah, there's a difference there.
Right. The companies that start out,
Right.
yeah, to Steve's point, yes, if you got the sugar daddy, which usually is private equity or funds, from the big ETF world, you name it, all of those, they buy into the story, and I don't know, either they're stupid or greedy or both, and they just they keep funding, right? They keep funding, and then eventually somebody in the firm or others say, whoa, this is not sustainable. I want my money back, and so it's musical chairs. And then all of a sudden the thing collapses, and it's like, oh, well, you all knew, just a bunch of greedy pigs. They just kept feeding the pig, and then eventually,
But you have to have confidence in the management team. I think that's the other thing. There's a company that we worked with. Their investment bankers threw like $300 million in it, and they finally had to say enough's enough. But we're like, really? After you threw 50 million in it, you should have known enough is enough. But it's one of those, it can't fail on my watch mentality. You know what I mean? Instead of fishing and cutting bait, a lot of it is that. Some of it is like they say, okay, this looks like I believe in the management team. So to say what makes a company fail, there's so many variables, right? Depending on what space you're in right now, if you're economically, consumers aren't spending. So Saks Fifth Avenue, December 31st, 2 days ago, filed for bankruptcy. They're not going to be around any much longer, which is no big loss. And then you'll see Macy's, and all these stores are going to start doing it. People just don't spend like they used to. They have no faith in the economy, the government. That has a lot to do with it as well. So it just depends on where you are. Right now, the hot is AI. If you have money, you're throwing it into AI. Whether it's going to be successful or not, who knows?
Well, what's this thing? So I know Michael must.
No, go ahead.
But I keep reading about these SPVs, and that's where I said, well, what's all that about? Because that just seems like musical money. It just keeps getting handed round, from one to the other. It doesn't seem to make any sense.
No, special purpose vehicles.
Yeah. SPAC.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a SPAC. It's called a SPAC.
They're SPACs. Okay.
No. There's a difference, and it goes to.
Well, special purpose vehicle is almost it's going to be pretty much like a SPAC. A special purpose vehicle means you have to invest within 18 months. You're setting up a certain account. A SPAC is something you want to take IPO. So really, at the end of the day,
these are the ones that are not IPO. I was reading this about this incestuous relationship that all these AI companies have with hardware and software.
Right.
Oh, you're talking about the AI.
Circle. So they're just issuing the SPVs now. I originally thought they'd all bought cars, but that's just me. But so I didn't really understand that. So why? What is that? Because there was reference in that particular article I was reading. It was reference to the Enrons of this world.
Right. Daisy chain. Daisy chain's a wonderful thing, man. You give the A to give the B to give the C to give the D to give back to A. It's just a circle jerk, and that's what Enron was. If there's a great book that came out, I can't remember the name, but it actually showed your SPVs, and it was like Enron gave to their company A, which gave the company B, which gave the company C, which gave the company D, and then the E back.
Smartest guys in the room.
Yeah, so SPVs is I guess a obfuscation tactic because your company has taken on too much debt. So you create a company, and that company takes on the debt for the mother company. That's really all it is. And eventually, obviously, that eventually collapses because you can't make payments, and it comes back to the main corporate entity. But it's just a way of increasing your leverage because you can't do it essentially on your own. The company A, let's say, is the product company, and let's call it OpenAI. OpenAI has taken on equity investors. They've taken on debt. They've issued some kind of a bond. Right, they've reached the limit technically, and so what they try to? Well, we need more money. Well, let's create a special purpose vehicle, SPV. We'll borrow money through that entity, and then that will fund, the main company. So it's taking on additional debt.
Without
Is that not a red flag then?
Yeah, it's a huge red flag. Yeah,
because it would appear that in the past it hasn't really worked. So, they always have, we're obliged in Europe when it says the investment results of yesterday are not a guarantee of the investment results going forward. They have to put that now on all financial products.
Well, look at it this way. Is it going to work? Miracles do happen. But if you start doing with SPVs, it means that you've reached your limit and you're trying a back door.
But that's not true, John. Some SPVs are successful. So I would say it's like a 50-50 or a 90-10, you can pick it. But there are SPVs that are successful, that they do, what they're intended to do. But to your point on the larger scale with OpenAI and others, when they start doing it and, they're look at this, then that's a different story. There's smaller SPVs no one's ever heard of, whether it be in banking or in other entities. They're done just fine. Like, they have guys that sit around a room that actually have IQ points. They figure it out and they do it properly. So I think that has a lot to do with it. So I just think it depends on what your SPV is trying to do, how you're trying to get there, where you need to go, and how you structure it.
Remember, it's not a SPAC, which is
I know what an SPV is, special purpose vehicle. I get it. Listen, to me, a SPAC and an SPV, it's the same crap. A SPAC you definitely lose money on. We don't even go down that road. An SPV depends how you're setting it up, where you're setting it up, and what the purpose of it is for. Some companies set them up just to hold patents. Others hold it up for your debt, whatever it is. It just depends. But there are some successful SPVs, I think. So it just depends.
Yeah, but it depends. But it also, to the point of financial reporting, the parent company doesn't show all this debt. That's why we created another company.
Well, that's why you had 2008. Because you didn't have to mark to market, you didn't have to do anything. You could just make up crap, and it still happens to this day.
All of these risks off the books, basically.
You as an investor look at company A and you say, okay, it's got all this. Debt seems reasonable. You don't know that they have 10 special purpose vehicles that have borrowed all this money. It's
right.
Are they obliged to do that, John, by law? Are they obliged to?
No. The way it's. The way the structure is, it doesn't get reported on the financials of the essentially.
And once again, this goes back to the way things are done. Like a real management team isn't going to do a SPAC or an SPV, right? They're going to say, hey, listen, we have to borrow against our thing. But now that goes off. So let's forget the management team. Your SPV, once again, who's your sugar daddy? Who's the private equity group? Who's the private credit group? Who's the investment bank? Like, they don't care because they're the oldest profession. And I've said this before. We make money when we get out of bed because you have to pay to talk to us. So if I do an SPV with John's company, whether they're going to make it or not, I don't give a shit. I just made $25 million. I gave them debt. I gave them a line of credit. Right. I don't care. John's company could fail tomorrow.
Are you talking then about just facilitating that, Steve?
Yeah. If you're the facilitator, if you're the investment bank, the private credit group, or the private bank, or the PE group, or
so where does that money come from then? Does that money come from?
Well, comes from
investors
from up on high.
Yeah, listen.
All that magic money.
All that magic.
From the magic money tree, I'd forgotten about.
Right. Yeah. But if you're playing with trillions and trillions of dollars, and I give John's SPV $100 million, and he loses it, I don't care. I probably made $5 or $10 million on that deal. So these investors lost money. Big deal. They'll make it up somewhere else. That's the mentality. The mentality isn't we have to do right for everybody. The mentality is we have to do right for us.
Sorry, Steve. If I understand this, then you're talking about two different things. You've got a group of investors who have got pots of money and they don't know what to do with it. They then go to an investment advisor.
No. This is totally different. No. Poor people go to investment advisors. I'm talking about the wealthy. You can't think like you can't be poor. Yeah, this is why poor people never get rich. Or you do get rich, but you're never wealthy. Wealthy people walk into the XYZ bank and go, I want to be part of the private credit market. And they'll be like, great, we'll need $50 or $100 million for you to be involved. And they go, great, here's my $50 or $100 million. And then that's one set of people.
Okay, so they forget about that. Then they get a portfolio which they are supposed to have invested in. That
Right.
sounds
So they'll get you and
lot
100
like
people.
Madoff to me.
But you and 100 people do that. So now I have, let's say I have $500 million. I invest, say, 50 or 100 million in John's company, and that's one of 10. John's company goes south, right? I never get my interest payment. I don't get this. I get I get nothing. I get maybe a little portfolio of some shit I'm going to sell off.
You've still got your commission for setting up that deal.
Right, but I'm not talking about now the commission for the bank. I'm talking now about the wealthy investor who put his money in. So the wealthy investor, they say, "Hey, Mr. Smith, John's company is going tits down. Doesn't matter. We don't. It is what it is." And I go, "But we're going to sell it." And we loaned them 50 million. We're going to get 5 million for it. Like, great. 5 million goes back. There's a write-off. Yada yada yada. But the other 5 or 6 places I put money, they're doing great. So some of them I'm going to make 1 or 2 times my money. Some of them I'm going to get. So really, my 50 or 100 million that I put into this, I'm going to probably get back 200 or 300 million, regardless of John's company. And that's the mentality that these banks, if you will, or private equity or debt lenders or whoever, that's how they think, right? They're only worried about the interest rate that they get, the quarterly payment, and will they get all their money out? And if not, they look at the full portfolio and say, well, here's 4 companies. Out of 4, one's going to fail. The other one's going to do okay. And the other 2 are going to be my, home runs. Okay. Me as an investor, I don't care. I make 2 or 3 times my money.
Does this mean, this kind of blends into this idea of the hustle culture. So because one of the other topics we brought up is the nonstop grind really the key, or should you just become an investment banker or get into private equity and do what Steven's talking about and somehow elevate yourself into the world of being being in that world of being close to the money? Is hustle culture inherently flawed?
Well, I'd look, Steve paints this picture where, you got 50, 100 million, you're gonna triple your money. It's a figment of his imagination, because private equity overall has basically, it does 7% returns. Occasionally, you'll see something and boom, it makes a much of money. That it's not that, if it was that easy.
It is that easy, John. That's the problem. So poor people, 7%. Wealthy get much more. There's a very big difference between what you, the public, see and what wealthy people see.
Okay,
so when you say, you're right, John, private equity for the average person, you're going to get 6, 7. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll get 10. For someone who has a 50, 100 or more liquid, they're getting many, many more times than that. So, and they're not getting 6%. They're getting 2 or 3 times X. There's a very different mentality about somebody who goes and I'm going to write a $100,000 check to this hedge fund. They don't give a shit about you. It's $100,000. They don't care if you lose it or win it. I write you $100 million. Ooh, excuse me. That's real money now. There's a big difference between, if you will, rich, middle class, poor, whatever you want to call it, and the wealthy.
Well,
and that's the problem that people don't understand.
People are starting to talk about and have talked about for a while, this idea of the K-shaped economy where, Stephen, earlier in the show, you said that people aren't buying anymore. Well, the reality is most of consumer spending now is driven by the top 1%. And the reality
and you're
is,
welcome.
The bulk of people aren't buying, but it almost doesn't matter because the people at the top are buying. And it's just that the shift in the economy is going to satisfy the needs of the super rich.
Yeah, but it's always been like that. Now it's more prevalent because the super rich now have, and I hate to say,
hasn't always been like that.
It has. They have too much money. Back in the day when the super wealthy,
there was more. Yeah, there was more spread out out in the economy, more buying power in the middle class 30 years ago.
You don't have a middle class anymore. You either have
it's all being squeezed.
Yeah, you either have that you're either rich or wealthy, or you're screwed. It's that simple. There's nothing in between. The middle class is no longer. If you look, like I said, about consumer spending is down. They were like last quarter, they said will probably be the worst quarter for consumer spending.
Unless you look at the top consumers.
We're not looking at
Are you talking about the golden age that you Americans are living in? Is that what you're talking about?
You mean when I was growing up in the 1800s? Yes, the golden age was wonderful when people would spend. But there was a different mentality back then when people had money. As much as they would be like they would hoard it and try to be look at me, they still gave back. Today, the nouveau riche, if you will, or the guys who become crypto billionaires, they're not giving back. Them is like, how many supercars can I own? How many condos or houses can I buy? How many? So there's not really a giving back. They're not trying to give back. It's literally just like, let's see what we can do to squeeze it out. And I keep saying this, and I've said this now for 3 years. At some point, it comes true. When 7 billion out of the 8 billion people want to take a picnic, you're screwed.
But why should they give it back?
Why should they give it back?
I'm not saying
why should they give it back? Why should they give it back? Well, you're talking about all the really nice people in history, you know, the Rockefellers, you know, and
Michael Dell gave back. Go if you're in Austin, look at Michael Dell. Michael Dell has, I mean, granted,
I'm sure he wrote it all off against. I'm sure he wrote it all off against his tax, and he gets much.
You know what? I'm okay with that because he's got. I'm okay with that because he's got the number one children's hospital for cancer, I think, in the United States. I'm okay with that.
Well,
he gave back. You know what? It makes the kid's life that he saved happy. You have to give back, and that's what people. I don't care.
In the US.
No. In Austin, he's got about 30 hospitals. No. So he's got many.
So it's still 30 in the US. How many people live in the US? 300 million?
It's
okay.
Just
it's token gestures. You know, it needs a fundamental change. Not just this, we'll give some money in.
Like
give
systemic change. David's saying fund systemic change.
I agree.
Yeah. John, what do you
wait, and Riza says, just so you know, one of our fans wrote the masses will one of our fans just wrote the masses will eventually rebel. The bubble will burst. The flood will come again. Yeah, I agree 100% with that.
They warned us about the flood.
Yeah, the flood's going to come again. And if you'd like to hear more of that wisdom,
from Noah? Is that what the guy's name?
That's Riza. No, Riz is the one who just said that from Havana Saturday. He can't join the show live right now, or he would, and that would be interesting. So he's just typing in his comments. So thanks, Riz. I'll see you tomorrow. But anyway, I agree. And I keep saying that, and you see little things happen. So at some point, and we talked about this, I think, on Sermon from the German last month, at some point, you're going to have to say, we have to do something. So whether it's, as Guy Standing would tell us, a universal basic income, whether it's free healthcare, with something, you're going to have to do something, because when people start getting hungry, cold, can't afford to pay their bills, can't do this, can't do that, you're going to have a problem. And I'm not talking in the United States, David. I'm talking on a global scale.
Well, all due respect, Steve, you can say whatever you like, but nobody gives a monkeys what you say.
They actually do. At the Illuminati lizard people meeting, they care. They do watch the show.
They're watching all of the channels, David.
Listen, tomorrow night when I'm at the club having my cigar like a gentleman, eating my dinner with my 50-year-old scotch with the lizard people and the Illuminati people, they'll discuss this, because this is important, and this is something that comes up in topic, just so you know, quite a bit.
Should. I mean, the reality is, aren't people at the top benefiting from the system working? And if there's systemic risk to the bulk of the people at the bottom, that you would want to solve that so that there's less risk?
They're just running as fast as they can. They're running as fast as they can, blindfolded through a wood of trees. As simple as that. And they just hope they can get out the other side before they bang into something serious.
What do you got, John?
And you see
at
it.
The end of the sorry. I was going to say, at the end of the day, we have too many people in the world, and so all these differences.
Not a pandemic, then.
We need a good pandemic, but it wasn't good enough. You got to do it again. Well, here's another quote. Let me give you another quote. The problem of normals are no longer the problem of those that could do anything about it. We are all tranquilized with debt and chase of wealth and stuck firmly between. So that's a very interesting thing. You can read that on your screen too, guys. Riza writes. Riza's very philosophical. Yes. Riza's whatchamacallit. Riza's trying to take over a small third world country for 2OF Entertainment right now, so he can't come on because the gun shooting behind.
There are a few of those.
But I'm just saying, he's right. The problem is that these companies don't give a rat's ass. I mean, think about it. Go sit with Jamie Dimon. Go, Jamie. Tell me Jamie doesn't care. Jamie just cares about his stakeholders. And I don't blame him. And he cares about his bank, how much money he's going to make. Last year, there was $4.2 trillion deals done.
Yeah.
That's the second highest year ever. All right. Wow. Do you guys see any of that? Probably not. We did. Yeah.
No.
So my point is that nobody gives a shit about the little people. They barely give a shit about the super wealthy.
Yeah.
Think about it. Nobody cares. The only person that cares if you're super wealthy is the Rolls Royce dealer or the Bugatti dealer or the, you walk into the dealership, they get a chubby because, there's $3 million. Or the guy who's selling you an island.
Just going back then. So what are the thoughts on this idea of hustle culture, which apparently has gotten, a lot of social media attention over the past 10 years?
Explain what the hustle culture is, because
these are probably not truly successful people, and they're going around saying you have to work 20 hours a day, you have to sacrifice everything, you have to.
If you're working 20 hours a day, so.
Well, you know what I mean. They're creating this persona of saying, all work and zero play, and that's how you get to success.
Listen.
I know.
I know. Really. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people with real money.
Real culture,
there's people with real money. Once again, going back to the wealthy, that's the mentality. That's the way they were raised, and that's what they do. You get other people who they lucked out because they bought some crypto algorithm or some stock at $2, and that's crazy talk. You have to find what works well for you. I like working 60, 80, 100-hour weeks. I enjoy 10 and 15-hour days. It stimulates me mentally, and I enjoy it. So to me, I'm not really working. It's like a hobby. Some people, they go to the office, it's tedious. Oh my God, blah, blah. And I don't look at it that way. I look at it, this is great. This is fun. This is like playing golf for me. And I enjoy that. So it's your mentality. This hustle is bullshit. It has to work for you on a mental and physical level, and then you're good to go. If you're doing it because some asshole on YouTube tells you to do it, or some guy on TikTok or Instagram, then you're an idiot. You have to do what works for you, your family, or whatever. Everybody's different.
Increasingly, and I think this is why people are leaning into the concept of hustle culture, especially younger people, because increasingly the existing jobs that are out there don't pay enough to even, to really even raise a family, consider raising a family.
Yeah, I don't want these people with family, so we're good. So
that might be part of it. That might be part of it.
Young people.
So basically, you're just saying more. It's not so much what your definition of success is. It's really the hustle culture is really because people can't afford to on one job to make ends meet.
Right,
that's,
exactly.
I think where you're going different. That's different then. That's much different.
Yeah.
Than,
but it's a bit like
saying I can't make a living in a regular 9-to-5 job, and so I'm going to resort to coming up with a crypto algorithm or finding some way to scheme the system, game the system.
Oh, gaming. Okay.
Isn't it just a sort of self-fulfilling? It's a bit like, when the economy really is tanking, like it is in a lot of places, the sales of lottery tickets go through the roof.
Right.
And so all these people who don't have any money, they're feeding into the algorithms, into the social media, and all they're getting fed with is all these people who say hustle, hustle, because they think it's a solution to their problem. Yeah. But but the problem is that they're not getting any useful information. Right. The algorithm's just woken up to the fact, that's what they're looking at, and they're continuously feeding it. And then other people say, that's a successful channel. That's successful on YouTube or on TikTok or whatever. I'll go and give all that spiel, and so I can make that money.
Listen,
and I always have to think about the old advert in the newspaper about send me £1 and I'll tell you how to get rich. Right. And you used to send letters back to people saying, put an advert in the paper saying, send me £1 to get rich. That's how you get rich. So we need a fundamental reset, and it'll either happen politically or militarily. It's certainly not going to happen socially, I don't think. But that's my prediction for 26.
Yeah,
on the barricades, boys, get your helmets on.
Yeah, we're going to Pluto. So Rizzo says the world is obsessed with individual gain, and the collective gain has therefore vanished.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
A loss of social morality. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, where's the
That's
social
exactly
thinking? Where's the collective thinking? But then if you even say the word collective, then you're labeled a socialist, and then you're ignored.
Democratic
People are gonna be
socialist, I
stupid.
think you have to be these days. You know.
It's really stupid. And that's the other thing. Like, we make no qualms on any of our shows at 2OF. This is entertainment. You can listen to us. You can not listen.
right.
I don't give a fuck what we do, actually.
This is
When we have
entertainment.
guys standing on, or Michael Collins and these other people on, they're just telling you their opinion.
That's
So
right.
it's just entertainment. It's not for us to tell you how to live your life or do any of this other shit, right? You have to make a decision based on whatever. The fact that you want to call it the hustle culture, there's been a hustle culture since the beginning of time, because there are never wages that, depending on the lifestyle you want, that will give you what you want. So there you go. I mean, think about it.
Well, hustle. I mean, maybe this idea of like hustle. I mean, even the word hustle, didn't that used to mean like you're trying to con somebody? I mean, wasn't that initially what a hustle was?
Yeah. Well, you're hustling
And
people
now-
to get them into a club or get them into
Exactly.
doing something.
Right.
Herding
right.
them, herding and hustling. So.
Right.
So let me just tell you what Riza and I do with this statement he just wrote. This is exactly what I think everybody should do. He suggests everybody should smoke a good Cuban cigar, lean back in a comfortable chair, and watch the fly on the ceiling. And I agree 1,000% with that. There you go.
Just relax.
Very
Nobody
relaxed.
has any money
It's-
to buy Cuban cigars.
Cigars,
That's
yeah.
That's right. That's the first problem.
We're lucky if we can go out and buy a packet of papers to, let alone the tobacco to roll it up.
Yeah, you got to roll your own these days.
Well, I'll be
If
smoking
you're not
mine
at the
here.
top. If you're not at the top.
I'll be smoking mine in Monaco in a little bit. So anyway, but my point is this: the hustle in sports has a different connotation than in business. Like, if you're in sales, they go hustle, right? I mean, try to sell. If you're hustling in sports, it means they want you to be better. So now we've taken hustle, and all of a sudden we've made it this derogatory term. It's not the hustle culture. It's not this. Let's stop being a bunch of pussies, okay? This pussification of the globe is just to the point where it's fucking dumbest thing in the world, okay? Enough. Grow the fuck up. Get a pair of balls, people. If you're going to hustle and you have to work 2 or 3 jobs, that is hustling. That's not hustling to get rich. That's hustling to pay your bills and stay above. Then we have a problem in society. We've talked about this. When a police officer or a school teacher or whoever gets like $50,000, $60,000 a year, I want my school teachers to make $200,000-$300,000 a year. I want my kids to have the best education in the world. Why do I need to, as a parent, spend what it would cost to send a kid to Harvard to get them to go to school so they can learn? Because why? Because I pay some kid out of college $40,000. They have the room with 17 people, and now the schools don't even give you pencils. You have to bring your own. We have gotten to a point that we have become a third-rate country. And until we turn it around, and Donnie, you want to turn it around? Chop, chop.
Chop, chop.
Turn it around. And if not, then let's stop with all this bullshit and all these terms, and let's get back to where Americans had balls. We have no balls. Our balls have been clipped.
It's a golden age you're living in, guys. Enjoy it.
Golden age, exactly, David. It's the golden age.
I can see the sun shining behind you, Stephen.
But always a golden age for who? Or for whom?
Yeah. And of course, I had this discussion. I'm glad John's on the show, actually, because I remember having a discussion with him quite early on about tariffs. How tariffs doing, John? Are they making everybody rich?
Tariffs.
Are they making everybody rich? You remember?
Yeah, John, tell us about the tariffs.
Look, have you? If you look at the statistics and the numbers,
what the ones that
tariffs were supposed to be
the Trump regime actually owns, the ones that they're letting you see.
Just look at it.
Okay.
Tariffs were supposed to bring, all sorts of calamities.
Trillions.
They haven't. Inflation is not up. You said inflation is going to go back up to 7-8%. It hasn't. Hasn't
not yet.
Because look, the only reason you get inflation is the only cause of it is when you get government spending, right?
Yeah. What you got now is stagnation, which is even worse.
When you print currency, right? And that's what the government does when it spends. It prints currency. Tariffs, we're just taking money from somebody and giving it to the government, It doesn't create inflation.
Yeah, you take. Oh, all right. So all that you're just taking that money from American citizens.
That's right.
giving it
Yeah,
to
it's
the
a
American
one-time price increase, and it's a tax. You know, I mean, it's as simple as that.
tax.
I mean,
Okay, so that's
yeah.
good. That'll make everybody.
So,
That'll make middle class Americans rich again, won't it?
so the deficit,
Just tax them some more.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, has he?
the deficit has gone down by something like $600 billion, right? So,
Oh yeah, that's made a
Elon
lot.
can write that check. What the? Stop it. He's got $1 trillion. Elon just paid the deficit off already. Come on.
yeah.
that's
So, tariffs have, they're not the doomsday that everybody, the general sort of theme was. It never was going to be, but most
Yeah,
people
but people don't understand tariffs, John. They don't. But to an extent, it has been a doomsday. Not to the point where everyone's going to implode. But that's why consumer spending is down, because products are up. Why? Because of tariffs. Because when
Just a little bit,
Walmart
yeah.
gets charged
And
more,
also because wages haven't gone up in a while.
Walmart charges people more. And that's what people don't understand about tariffs. It's like, it's great that the government's getting a few extra shekels, but at the end of the day, the consumer's paying for it. So it has been a doomsday. That's why consumer spending is down in the second, third, and fourth quarter of this year.
Overall, the tariffs were not passed on to consumers. Some of the producers, took part of it. Then the people that imported took a bit of the cut, and then also the consumers. So it wasn't like, okay, we have this tariff, we're going to pass on to consumers the entire amount. So it hasn't really been pushed completely on consumers. So,
but it did get pushed on consumers. And remember, if you're on a fixed salary, or you're on food stamps, or you're on government assistance, or you have to work 5 jobs to pay the electric, I don't care if something goes up 25 cents or $2.50. That is not in your budget.
Right.
And that will
It's
screw
all
you
for
up.
the good. It's all for the good, Stephen. It's all for the good. The good, mega rich people. It's good for them.
Well, yeah.
You know.
I mean, because we get rid of the little people.
I wouldn't go that far, Dave.
No, even I have something for Lost and Found. Even the rich people are having problems, and I'm going to tell you about that when we do Lost and Found. Rizit actually has just summed this up perfectly, just to let you know, this is a true statement. I hate to read this, but I'm going to, because it's on the screen and people can read it anyway. He says, we have a show, which is true, called Habano Saturday, where people send us money to smoke cigars. And that is a true statement. We have many fans on Saturday that will thank us for the show and actually send money,
Nice.
which is we love them all, but it's one of the funniest things. And it's great respect, because we understand why they're doing it, because they enjoy the entertainment we provide
perhaps
them.
people who really enjoy this show can send me money so I can pay for my heating. That would be great.
No, David, they don't send you money. They send the show money, because they know that we here at the Illuminati Club are going to use that for something that people need: cigars and scotch. So there's a
I'll just remain poor and hustled then. There you go.
that's okay. We're good with that. So
you can cook some tulips for dinner then.
there you go. You got windmills. You got tulips. You got everything you need there.
There's none of them left over, mate. They've already been eaten.
God.
There's no cats and dogs to be found here.
Oh, goodness.
I love when there's cats and dogs to be found. So anyway, do you guys want to do, we have anything else we want to go over on this, or we want to go into the Lost and Found segment, which looks like it's the same intro, and that didn't get changed.
Oh, no.
So, you want to do Lost and Found, boys?
Lost and
All
Found.
right.
Ever wonder how millions vanish into thin air, or how a single dollar can make all the difference? Join us on Lost and Found, where we dive into the wild world of financial mysteries. From misplaced fortunes to unexpected windfalls, we unravel the stories of people, companies, organizations, and even governments who've lost and found millions. Lost and Found, because every dollar has a story.
And there we go. David, just for the fans that have never seen this, David goes last, because David usually has some graphics and he's got a story he's got to tell, and blah, 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 blah. But John, we haven't seen you in forever. You got that little Van Gogh thing going on there with the beard. You look like Santa's helper as you're looking for Nazi gold. What do you got?
Look, I got a couple. The first one that comes to mind is, in the month of November, crypto investors lost $800 billion, is the number that I've seen. $800 billion,
Nice.
which is a nice.
That's down from what?
Yes, but you know how it is when Bitcoin went to, was it 127,000? There was a buyer and there was a seller. So whoever bought those
Right.
Bitcoins, at 100, 120, they lost money, right? So collectively,
Right.
there's from the high, they've lost 800 billion. Yeah. The other one, which, I'm sure everybody's fully aware, is the slowly exploding bomb that we see in all these government programs, and the 12 billion that Somalis have scammed out of the system, which it's probably a much bigger number because that's just one state, right? Where what I find interesting is that Obama brought all these people. He did a special, sort of expedited refugee, whatever you want to call it. Let's bring all these Somalis, put them in one district in Minnesota. Right? Who taught these people how to about the system? Put a daycare. The beauty of it is you have a family. You have 4 kids, and your sister lives next door, and she's got 4 kids. You create a company, and you say you're babysitting your sister's 4 kids. You get paid something like $25 an hour. It's about $3,800 a week. Then your other sister creates also a daycare company, and she's babysitting your sister's 4 kids, right? And so in total, you're making like when you do the numbers, like $250,000 a month. Is it a month? Yeah, somewhere around that. I'm just fascinated by one, the scam, and then who taught these people how to do it. Right?
Well,
I think
it's a land of plenty, isn't it? Land of opportunity is what you guys keep harping on about.
Let me explain, David. The IQ of Somalis is the lowest in the world. Something like 57.
Come on.
No, straight out of the UN. It's the truth.
57 means they're dragging their knuckles on the floor.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Well, you should look it up.
I don't think racism. I don't think racism or social or national profiling should be looked at.
No, don't play the. When the truth comes out, they play the racism, or the victim. The truth is.
Well, look, you have a system which enables people to do it. So who's
no? But
who's
he's
now?
pointing at a bigger point, which is who's taught them to even do that. Because somebody has to know our system very well to even do that.
Yeah.
What about your education system that sends these people to school so they can learn stuff? It's like saying, the dog has bitten me. Yeah, well, if you don't feed it, it's going to bite somebody.
Don't throw stones. You're in a stone house. I mean, Europe's, what the hell? That's a shithole. It's sinking at a greater rate
John,
than
it's my shithole. It's my shithole.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The UK, I hate to say this, it's a lost country, 28 Sharia courts,
so lost that I haven't lived there for the last 40 years, so I've lost it. So there you go.
Yeah.
So I'm now living in the land of
left.
tulips.
That's right, you left.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so who taught these guys how to do this shit? Is what I'm.
Well, the Americans did. You did. You taught them how to do it. It's your system.
Yeah.
It's not like they went to school in Somalia as to how to run the system in the US. No, it's your own system. It's your own system. You invented it. You put it there. You gave people the opportunity to use it, and they used it. You're just crying over spilt milk.
We know who taught them. I'm just not going to say it.
Well, for me, the Somalians found dollars.
So apparently, if they're making $250,000 a month. So wait,
I just don't believe that.
One of the one of the fans just wrote us 67. Is that what you're saying? The IQ was according to the UN 67.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking.
As long as you say 6'7".
We got live fact check, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. And if you can read it, you can see it on the screen. They're asking questions, so I'm just making sure it was live. All right, Michael, what do you have for us after that nice one?
Keep going on the crypto train.
Okay.
Because this is how you know crypto. This is the real reason and the real indicator that crypto has made it. is that Iran is now offering to
I
sell
saw this. Yeah.
advanced weapon systems for crypto.
Ah,
So their Ministry of Defense Export Center is actually announced that they are willing to negotiate military contracts with digital currencies. So if you've got a lot of Bitcoin, maybe you too can have an advanced weapon systems from Iran.
Yeah,
Well, you
most
never
of
know.
those Iranian drones have been used against the Ukrainians. So the Russians are buying thousands of them. Now, of course, the Iranian national currency, which unfortunately I don't know what that is,
The real.
it's absolutely crashed.
Yeah.
So it's worth
That's
worth
why they
as
wanna
much
use
as it
Bitcoin.
is. It's, yeah, exactly. So they're just saying to the Russians now, you're running all these ransomware scams around the world. Let's have some of that crypto money to buy some drones. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's
here
a.
we have the Argentine
story.
peso, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. All right. Well, let me give you two.
By
let
the
me give
way,
you
I
two real-
just want to, an added factoid.
Yeah.
Can you name, there's 7 countries in the world that have a fiscal surplus. One of them is Argentina.
Right.
The other one is Switzerland, Singapore, Greece. No, not Greece. Cyprus,
Right.
Ireland, and I forget who other ones are. But
Do you know why Ireland has a surplus?
Wow.
you tell me.
They have the Lucky Charms. They found the whatchamacallit. They found the pot of gold. Come on, that's what happened. So
Yeah.
Now they had a choice between potatoes and crypto. They chose
And
crypto.
Norway and Denmark. Yeah. No, actually,
Norway's oil.
Yeah.
Good
No,
factoid.
they just whatever. But if you spend beyond your means, you run a deficit.
okay. And someone just said I have an IQ of 67. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, it's
Yeah,
way
six,
above that.
six,
It's
seven,
69.
6, 7.
69.
Oh, it's
Stephen.
69. Oh, see, I didn't even see. There you go. Thank God for that. I will leave that up there because that's always a compliment. Hey, if you're going to say stuff like that, donate to the show. Anyway, here's 2 quick news stories, which I thought was pretty interesting. One, people are complaining in California about the billionaire tax that's going to Newsom's trying to do because, you want to drive out all the people with money. So that'll be interesting. And 2, retailers, luxury retailers, because we were talking about this earlier in the show, are now giving discounts to the ultra wealthy on products because as we were talking about consumer spending being down, consumer spending in that world is down as well because people are worried about the luxury and whatnot. So there you go.
All right. 3 words. Late stage capitalism.
It is what it is. Things like that.
There you go.
Discounts. Even the luxury brands are giving discounts. That is not a good sign.
Yeah.
No, there and it's very interesting because if you think about it, most time people with money, they're stupid. They just want to throw it around and go, look, I can spend. But it's interesting that they're starting to discount things in there. And from what I read in the art, it's privately. Like you can't, there's not a sign that says sales. But if you said XYZ luxury brand, what can you do for me? They can do something for you. So there you go.
Yeah.
All you have to do is ask.
It's the hustle. Now you can hustle with them.
Hustle. Keep your billions.
That's probably always been the case, but people with money just don't care. They say, "Well, I'll have that." Every salesman's dream. I'll have that, please. I'll have that. So they just wrap it up. And now they've got to think, that's my last 250 million. I better just ask for a discount.
Yeah.
Maybe they should take around their own violin band to play all the time when they go and buy something. My heart's bleeding.
My heart's bleeding.
Anyway.
All right, David. What do you got? What do you got for us, David?
Well,
Here we go, kids.
I thought this might, well, there you go. Talking about making people rich. This will probably make somebody richer than this particular gentleman already is, and it might make a lot of people a lot stupider. So this is what I've got.
I can't wait.
Mass production of brain-computer interface chips for all those people with an IQ of 6-7.
Or 69, apparently. So there you go. So
you just need to keep your head down with 6 and 9, but there you go.
Oh my God. So there you go, kids. You too can get a chip. Brain implant chip.
You get a chip.
Yeah.
That's
what you need.
This is how you can get Elon Musk plugged into your brain.
Yeah.
If you really want him to be plugged into your brain, there you go. You too can get a chip. I'm waiting for when the first person has that because that should be very interesting, I would think.
Well, no, the first consumer grade, first person to raise their hand and say, "Yeah, plug me in."
Yeah, we'll be Elon. After that, I want to see
I don't think it will be Elon.
I think he's going to wait and see what happens.
I don't think it will be Elon.
I keep talking. There was a Outer Reach episode that was done when they did the remake of Outer Reach in the 90s, and about people that had chip implants. And this one kid, for whatever reason, couldn't have a chip implant, so he had to learn the old-fashioned way how to read, how to do this, and how to do that. And something happened to the supercomputer that controlled everything one day, and none of them now knew anything. So this kid, like 20-year-old kid that read books and painted on his own and explored, was now the smartest person on the planet because he didn't get a chip implant.
Was he a Somalian? Is that what you're
No, he was a Somalian, so I don't think we were worried about it then. So I think that I'm fascinated by the IQ thing with the UN, though. What did they do? Test the population? That's just mind-boggling.
Okay, so I looked it up, and again, it was originally from Richard Lynn and collaborators, and they did a.
Wasn't from Project 2025, for instance, and they didn't bring out their own report.
Yeah, but there's it was.
Is it in a brown leather bound document with sort of light brown document?
Yeah. So it is 68. Maybe they think now it's 82, but with having come to the US and scammed us all out of billions.
Well, by definition, they couldn't do that with such a low IQ. But thank you to the American education system, and you guys, you just get what you wanted. The land of plenty. So you brought in loads of people, and they've taken plenty of money from you. Happy days.
But David, the funny thing is, how many did you import into Europe? 2 million into Germany. Just from all sorts of.
They're all welcome. They're all welcome as long as they
want
to come and work.
David's words. They're all welcome.
Yeah, all welcome. Yeah.
When you get there, tell them David said you can.
If they want to work, unfortunately, the system is stacked against them. So then a lot of people who come here who want to work, people who just come for economic reasons, who don't want to work, just want to fleece everything. No, we should just close the borders to them. I think that just makes sense everywhere.
Do you think you'll be taking on more wives when the caliphate comes into control? I'm just wondering.
The caliphate? We're not worried about the caliphate, John. We live in an integrated society.
We
don't need to have white dresses on and pointy hats. Or the odd cross to burn. We're not too much worried about that.
I would have pointed at a white dress.
Yeah, I mean, you can hardly contain the fact that it's not, but okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll build a wall after Mr. Trump's finished building his. He can send us all the people you've deported, and they can come here and build a wall for us. I'm sure that'll all happen.
Yeah.
Happy days. I'll be dead by then anyway. So it ain't gonna happen.
That's a nice generational play right there.
Yeah.
I'll be dead anyway. It doesn't matter.
It won't matter. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't. But that doesn't matter, does it? It's like. John, the fact that people that have scammed a few Somalians have scammed a few people, hustled a few people in Minnesota. I mean, what difference does that make? Any difference to your life? I mean, does that mean you're going to buy an even better Victorian barometer to put on your wall? I mean, hey,
it's not. It's a matter. I mean, people talk about justice all the time. It's not right for any group of people at any level to be scamming a system that was meant to support people who are truly in need. I mean, that's
all right. So, you're going to go and tell Trump that? Are you going to say that and say, and so sorry, Mr. Trump, you're not allowed to scam anybody. So,
Yeah. I mean, did you throw that argument? It's sad, David. Really.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's just very easy to point to one particular group and say, look, whatever they could come from Fairbeckistan. I don't care where they come from. It's just that look at what all they're doing, and that's all due to all that happened before. I mean, Trump can't stop talking about Biden. I mean, how long has Trump been in now? A year or something.
Yeah, I know.
It's his fault now. It's not. So why keep harping on about what happened in the past?
I shouldn't
It's
have picked
finished.
on this one group. Yeah, and, you know,
Yeah,
just,
why do that, John? Don't
yeah. I mean, just, you know, if
let
the
it
take is
slide.
only,
Let it
if
slide.
let it slide, you know, if we do it on every 50 states, you know, that's 100 billion. What's 100 billion to the US? You know, it's nothing.
Nothing.
Apparently
Nothing.
nothing.
No, it's nothing.
It's
Nothing.
nothing.
You got
Listen,
all
Elon
those,
once again can write the
trillionaires.
check. I don't see what the
Yeah.
problem is. Elon, we know you listen and watch. Write a
Yeah.
check already. Make Donnie happy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as long as Donnie's
And
happy. I'm
if
happy.
there's such a really big problem, I Bezos can send them all off into space. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
there's lots of
Send them to
opportunities
Mars.
solve it.
You know, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
All
on
right,
that
this
note,
show's-
we're in 2026. We're at the
Six.
hour mark. We're at the
Yeah.
1 hour mark
We're out of here.
for our
All
show.
right.
Thank you, gentlemen. This was a good one. This was a
Yeah.
good
Gentlemen, it's always good to see you.
Yeah.
Fans, we will see you sometime again in 2026 when the four of us can get together on a Friday morning and do a show for you. And that's it. If not, David has what he calls, what do you call the Lost Dollar one now that you do with AI? Deep dive?
Oh, they're deep dives. Yeah. We're
Deep
doing
Okay, so
dives.
if not on
Right.
Fridays, you can watch Lost Dollar Business Club's deep dives, which are actually
Yeah.
pretty interesting. I just watched the one on Swiss banking. I got excited because it had chocolate on it. I thought we were going to talk about chocolate. So that's an interesting one. We'll rebroadcast this one later today. Thank you for watching. And don't forget, we have thousands of shows on the channel. And this is our 5th year at 2OF Entertainment. So we want to thank all the fans, all the guests, everybody that's made it happen, all 100,000 plus of you. And we'll see where it goes. And tomorrow, if you're up early enough, you can watch Habano Saturday, where Riza and I and Usman will talk about Cuban cigars and other cigars from around the world. And fans pay us, as he put it, to do that. So, it's a good show. So, and then
Enjoy.
at the Illuminati Club, we all talk about it. So there you have it. All right, kids, have a wonderful 2026. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and we will see you when we all see you. Cheers, everybody.
Bye-bye.